Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Can you notice the difference this week? She's not here. So Christina is, she will hopefully be joining us. She's just finishing up in a meeting. She's been coaching one of our lovely clients today. So you've got the Green Umbrella team. We are here. We are live on Facebook. We are live on Christina's LinkedIn and on the Green Umbrella YouTube channel. So if you're here along with us, pop a comment in so that we know that you can see and hear us. How is everybody?
Good. I was going to say the other thing that's different this week is that I'm upstairs. I have a new, which I have a new background. I have some lovely dried grass.
You don't have a post-it note kind of stopping the light shining on your head.
Not today. No, I'm professional today. Next week, the post-it note will be back.
So, I guess then, without Christina and without further ado, we should dive straight into what has been happening in our world this week, and what's been happening in our world, and also what's new in the world of social media. Jane, I know you've said you picked up on a few little news stories that have come out this week that might be worth flagging.
Yeah, a couple of things really. So the first one is about Facebook ads. Basically, there's a new thing that they're testing whereby you can choose not to show your advert in certain places. So at the minute, your advert obviously shows in the news feed and it shows in various other places like Instagram or whatever, but it also shows on excuse me, on articles. So you might open the Daily Telegraph or the Mirror or whatever, your advert might show on there too. So you can exclude things. So if there was a story about crime or a murder or, something horrible that wasn't really associated with your brand at all, you can choose not to show your advert anywhere near anything like that. So and they're also talking about doing it in the news feed as well. So I presume it'll mean your ad won't show next to a post about something that's sort of doesn't align with your values. It's going to take a long time to test it. They're just starting to roll it out in tiny few places at the minute, but they think to get the whole news feed done is probably going to be the end of the year. But it is a nice thing because you don't want your advert showing on a page about something that's completely inappropriate because you just get sort of associated with it by default, even if it's nothing to do with you. So, there have been a few options to do that at the minute, but it's not sort of a big widespread thing. So hopefully when that rolls out, that'll be really useful. So, yeah. And the other one I had is actually you can now share a tweet to your Instagram and Facebook story. I've only got it on one of my Twitter accounts, and I found that this morning. So Christina tweeted about live lunch. So I shared her tweet over onto our Instagram story and over onto our Facebook story, which, I don't know how often you do that, but it seemed quite cool. And it looks quite good. So,
it's quite a time saver. Yeah, I can definitely see the benefit. So, and equally, it's kind of a surprising move, given that they are not associated with each other.
Yeah, I wonder how that happened. But I think it's good. Like you said, Jane, it's sort of usually on stories, you might share sort of similar content anyway, especially when it's things like live lunch or announcements or events or something like that. So the fact that you can tweet, but then literally just with a click of a button, send it there, I think it's definitely a time saver, like you said, Amanda.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's really good. And I wonder if it'll see, any more collaborations or integrations or whatever the right software terminology is about them working together. It kind of feels like a strange move, but it's definitely useful for the users. So, yeah,
100%.
Cool. Anything else? What have you been working on this week, Jane? I know you've been flat out.
Yeah, very much so. I've been doing a lot of Facebook adverts actually, and sort of planning some for a client at the minute, and various other usual things, sorting out blogs, doing our own marketing, things like that. Really, reading the news lots because obviously have to talk about it here, share it on our social, and usual stuff really.
And hoping that the first of the month doesn't fall on a Monday again, because it's just creating even more admin
and it does in March as well. That's me.
Cool. Really. Emily, what's going on in your world?
Me, Instagram as per. So a couple of things. The first thing that I actually read this morning is that they're testing a new vertical style stories feed. So it's very similar to TikTok in that when you use the TikTok app, you swipe vertically in order to get to the next video. And yeah, they're basically just copying the layout of that, to be honest. I think they've seen that it's worked really well in TikTok. Obviously, TikTok's rising in its popularity anyway. And a lot of users are used to that style of story or feed. So yeah, that's one thing that they are trialing. And then the other thing that they're trialing, which again is relatively new, I believe, is something called, hang on, I'm going to forget this now. It is called Professional Dashboard. So it's basically very similar to the insights that you could get before. However, there are other things included in it. So I had a really quick look at it this morning, and there's sort of like branded content, that sort of thing. Any agreements that you've had with any brands, you can log them within there. It gives you advice on content as well. So there's quite a lot of blogs and things that you can look at in terms of giving you ideas or giving you stats that have of posts that have worked well for other people. So yeah, I think it's really good. The way they've described it, hang on, let me just grab the article. It says it's essentially a management overview platform that provides basic performance insight as well as access to relevant tools to help Instagram creators maximize and monetize their platform presence. So yeah, I guess that the element of it, or the main element that is different to the insights, is the monetization part of it, and the fact that you can log that and include that within there. So yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, obviously only certain users are going to be doing that sort of thing, but it's good that they are collating that. And I also love the idea of the blogs and the advice as well, because I think sometimes with Instagram, people stick to the same things and they just get a little bit monotonous, I guess, in what they're posting. So it'll be good to see or to have a bit more advice and information on that from Instagram themselves.
Do you have to have a professional account? Because when you set up Instagram, and forgive my ignorance, I'm not as prolific on Instagram as you are, but you can sort of tick the box to say this is this is kind of, I'm no influencer, put it that way.
That's all right.
But you can sort of mention, you know, when you set up your profile, you choose the option whether it's like a personal or a business account.
Yeah.
Do we know if you have to have a professional account, or does it come up on your personal feeds as well?
If I'm honest, I'm not 100% sure, but I'd imagine you would need to have a business account, I think. I tell you what, I could have a quick look at, because I've got a personal one as well.
In the moment research, this is you want an answer, we'll give it to you.
You're going to get one. That. Hang on, in 5, 4.
Pressure. This is where the feed cuts out, and we end on the cliffhanger.
No, so I don't have one on my personal Instagram account. I only have one on my business account. So unless it is something that they are rolling out slowly, which I don't think it is, then it is only available on business accounts.
Well, it makes, I guess, choosing the name, I suppose, Professional Dashboard.
Yeah, true. And I guess with sort of personal accounts and things as well, it's less likely anyway that you're going to have sort of paid ads and that sort of thing. I think you have to have I believe you'd have to have a business account to do that. So yeah. But yeah, I think it's a good update, like I said. And I particularly like the fact that it isn't just the insights, that it's including the other elements and also including the blogs and advice side of it as well. So yeah, we'll see how that goes, but I think it's quite interesting anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, as you say, useful, because Instagram isn't known necessarily for giving sort of really good tips or insights on what they do. You can kind of dive a bit deeper with some of the other channels. So sounds like a good move by them.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. Definitely.
What else have you been working on this week, Emily?
Oh gosh, that is a good question. I have been working on a lot. I've been actually really busy this week. So I did a a fact find appointment yesterday with a new client, which is something that I don't usually do. So that was quite good to do something different. I've had a lot of meetings this week, so I've been trying to juggle those alongside my other work that I usually do. So obviously the contracts that I manage and the blogs and emails and everything really. But I feel like it's been one of those weeks. We've got to Thursday and I'm thinking, how on earth is it already Thursday? I feel like it's flown by and now I'm stressed. But I'm trying to focus on my inner peace.
Inner peace. It's becoming a phrase for us all, isn't it?
It's fine. But yeah, it's just been busy. It's been busy, but it's been good. I like being busy. So it's good.
Does anybody else feel like it's kind of a milestone that we've got to February? Because it was it was, I don't know, January felt like it was 100 years long.
Yeah.
Just me, it does feel like a milestone we've got to Feb.
I think it's I think January always feels like it's a really long month, to be fair. But I do feel like it's crazy that we're already in February.
But then February always feels like a really short month.
It's weird. It's one of those things, isn't it, where it's like January feels really long, but at the same time, when we get to February, I think, how on earth is it already February? Like, it's really weird, but I
feel like Christmas was only 5 minutes ago in one sense, don't you? But
over
a month ago now.
Things definitely to look forward to. It feels like there's more from a marketing point of view, so working with our clients as well, there's kind of more that is immediately on the horizon and more to talk about. So from consumer products, obviously there's Valentine's Day coming up. People have got maybe an eye on half term, even though they're not, children aren't particularly in school, but the homeschooling. So I know I've done a bit of work with clients just thinking ahead to spring stuff, half term stuff, and maybe even beyond that, Easter. But yeah, you find it out.
I feel like there's been a lot of popularity as well in marketing around that, like you're saying, Amanda, sort of homeschooling, juggling work and home life, and also how a lot of people have found this second lockdown much harder than the previous lockdown, for obviously the fact that we don't quite know when it's going to finish, but also the fact that obviously it's February, it's cold, we can't get outside and enjoy the weather and everything. But I think it's quite good personally that in a marketing sense that everybody is sort of opening up to that discussion and talking about it online, because as we've sort of said previously, in terms of mental health and well-being and things, if people are having these conversations, then people that are struggling with that aren't going to feel like they're the only people that are struggling. But yeah, there's definitely been a lot of conversations around that, especially since January, to be honest. I think there's been a bit of a push in terms of well-being in general and looking after ourselves, which is interesting. But I think it's good that people are talking about it.
Definitely, I would agree. I think news feeds, there's lots of stuff. As you say, about mental health. I think this week is Children's Mental Health Awareness Week.
Yes, it is.
I know today is Time to Talk Day, so we're being good. We're talking to each other. But all these awareness days, they are, I know, so that people might view them with some cynicism from a marketing point of view, going, oh, is it just a bandwagon to hop on? Is it a bit of a tenuous link to what we're doing? But if it does raise awareness and start a conversation, it's not a bad thing.
No, precisely. That's what I do think that. And I think from the clients that I manage in particular, the people or the clients that we have raised that subject with, those posts have done extremely well. People are wanting to talk about it. People are engaging with it. I think possibly a lot more than they would have before, because now it is a conversation that people are more used to having, whether that's because it's being raised internally or because they see it a lot more on platforms like LinkedIn or Twitter. I don't know if people just feel more comfortable about it in general, but like you said, the fact that they're talking about it, I don't really see that as a negative. It's a good thing that awareness is being raised.
Definitely.
I think, like you said as well, though, a year ago, people would have probably thought, oh, you're just jumping on the bandwagon. Why are Green Umbrella talking about mental health or whoever? Whereas now, it's like I said, because it's so much more open, it's okay for anyone to be talking about that. It doesn't have to be totally relevant to your business per se. It's like you said, it's okay to talk about it. Everyone wants to talk about it, and yeah, it looks good as a business if you are talking about it, and obviously helping your employees as well to make sure that they are okay.
Yeah, definitely.
I think like you sort of said, Jane, is that it's not that just by talking about it you're not claiming to be an expert, and nobody claims that they're an expert if they're not. It's just purely the fact that you're raising the conversation and raising the topic, that you're just showing awareness of it. You're showing that it's something that you think about in your everyday life, and it's obviously something that affects a lot of people. So yeah, I think it's good, especially like I said in marketing, the fact that I've noticed in particular a lot of my clients wanting to talk about it, and a lot of clients or a lot of other people are talking about it.
I think from some of the research, the Data Davis side of things, about what consumers want to see on social media. I think authenticity can be a bit of an overused word, you know, kind of when you hear leaders talking about, oh, I'm so authentic, we really want to be authentic, it feels a bit, yeah, okay, you and everybody else. But that, you know, it is the right word for it. You know, I think what we want to see and what potential customers or existing customers want to see is kind of real life content, you know, the real people behind the business, not the, you know, if you're putting something out there that is, oh, with, you know, mental health is at our core, it's very important. It's kind of a, whatever. We want to see the kind of the real, you know, the reality behind that. Well, what are you doing about it? Why is it important? And that's, yeah, that's like, I forget the stat. It's in this month's Data Davis though. So when our next social snippet comes out, people go and read it. Because there is this
it's out now.
To the website, social snippet page. But yeah, there is data around that you know, that people want to see a true reflection of what the sentiment is in the world, kind of in the ether. And there's been another bit of data I thought was really interesting, was the increase of memes and little funny images. So I think because of all the doom and gloom, I know we've talked in previous live lunches about doomscrolling. Just to kind of break that up a little bit, people want the funnies.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna find the stat for you. But humor. So the use of memes rose 26% between 2019 and 2020. So you know, over a quarter in terms of usage. So is that just because we've all got a bit of a sick sense of humor, or is it just because we want a bit of light relief?
Yeah, I think it's for me personally, when I use social media from a personal perspective, it is because I want to have that light relief. I want to scroll and not really think about it. And yes, okay, I'm engaging with people and that sort of thing, but I do try to avoid the serious side of social media and, like you said, the doom scrolling, because I think especially in our job where we're literally on social media all day, every day, you have to have that break from it. And obviously in our day-to-day work, we are having to take on board all the news, take on board everything that's happening in the world, because if something bad or something extreme happens, obviously we need to react to it. So I'm taking it in during the day, and in the evening I just want to laugh at memes or cute dog videos or something stupid. Basically,
I've seen a lot of is pandas playing in the snow.
Oh yeah,
which is not really. So, like, you give you that bit of a warm, fuzzy feeling, and I think that's probably what we all need. So, although if you're a company and you're running your business Facebook page or Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever, I guess you need to pitch it right, don't you? You need to make sure that you're not sharing something that could be deemed as inappropriate or offensive. Maybe that's why animal videos do so well, because they're generally not offensive.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Although I think quite a lot of people are mindful around people putting dogs into costumes and things like that, because there's that side of it. But yeah, in terms of funny, stupid dog videos, like, they're hilarious. I like them. Not so much the dressing ones, but the cute ones.
True story. I did post on behalf of a company towards Christmas a penguin. It was just wearing a little cape, so nothing too awful. But there was one person who commented saying, "I think this is demeaning for the penguin." And you think, well, is it? I don't know. You can't say. Yeah, there's often you're not going to please everybody, but
I think it's hard to tell. I mean, with dogs and things, you can quite clearly tell if they're unhappy. I don't think I'd be able to tell if a penguin was unhappy.
Probably not.
You probably can, but I'm not a zoologist. Is that who would be able to tell that? I don't know. A marine expert.
You've kind of gone off on a weird penguin tangent, but is that kind of real life and the fluffier content is actually what people have an appetite for at the moment. You know, when you look at the stats and the data behind what posts are performing well, it's this kind of thing. So, you know, kind of think about where you can weave it into your strategy, but yeah, equally kind of use with caution.
Yeah, so definitely.
Now, Mark, you well, as always, crazy busy, but it really feels like the print and design thing has, you know, exploded again. There's been sort of no let up since we've come back in January. What's happening in your world?
Yeah, I mean, it's the print is still a little slow, and I think we found that during the last lockdown because there's limited uses for some of the sort of products and things. But I think people are getting prepared for when things do unlock again, and also taking, like we've said before, throughout this year, is taking any downtime as an opportunity to actually look at what they're doing themselves. The other thing that I spoke to a client this week who deals a lot with startups, and I think he told me, I think in January, just in Northamptonshire alone, there was something like 500 new registered businesses. So There's obviously a lot of people, again, you know, maybe taking that leap through, you know, a situation that's perhaps been forced on them, or just seeing an opportunity, you know, in the current sort of climate to actually, you know, go out there and do something on their own. So again, that is probably having an impact on some of our work as well, where people are starting new businesses, wanting to, you know, obviously get brands in place. We've got a few different bits like that. We've got a couple of sort of rebrand type things where people are just tweaking, you know, what they're doing. So yeah, it's been a sort of another real mixed bag. Lots of website stuff again, you know, and whether that again is new sort of sites, people obviously are either replacing sites, or again, perhaps even haven't had a site but realise that now they really have to have something in place. Or again, just people sort of adding to their sort of sites and adding new content, adding sort of maybe different functionalities to utilise the websites in perhaps a slightly different way. So we've got a client at the moment. They've got their normal website, which has been up and running for a while. They're a recruiter, so a lot of recruiters will do sort of salary guides and things like that. But this client, you know, they're going to do that online in a certain way, so that, you know, it makes sense for them to be able to present things to people, and also then, you know, give their clients the option to have a look at it afterwards as well. So, you know, a bit of sort of innovation in a different way of presenting information as well.
Great.
So, yeah,
it feels like, I don't know, January is obviously traditionally the time of year when people they have a bit of a break over Christmas and they start planning the year ahead. Where do we want to be? And I don't know about you, it feels like there are a lot of people got to the end of last year and went, well, we made it. You know, we kind of thought it was going to be a hideous year. It wasn't a great year business wise, but, you know, more than anything, we didn't just survive, we actually made some money, we're still here, which means they're kind of thinking, well, if we can get through that, then we're going to plow some money into our marketing activity and make sure we really, really go for it in 2021. So I know we've had lots of inquiries through about people kind of, right, I want to, diversify a little bit or focus on this area of the business. So is that the sort of sentiment you're getting as well?
Yeah, I think the other thing is, I think people have accepted that this is I know we've used that phrase "new normal" and things in the past, but this is not abnormal anymore. How we're working, and obviously there's unfortunately a lot of sectors, obviously leisure and things like that are still massively affected by what's going on. But from a general business point of view, there are a lot of people that can work in this different way, and it's now a case of actually we just crack on and we do what we're doing, but we're doing it slightly differently. So that initial perhaps fear when the first lockdown happened that everything was going to grind to a massive halt, it didn't in every sense. Obviously, there was a lot of people that were massively affected, but there are people that can carry on, and those people are perhaps thinking actually we can use this time, use the change in the way that we work into a positive note. So I think it's changing times still though.
Changing times, but people are kind of taking it all in their stride a bit more than we were last year.
Yeah, I think so. I think I was speaking to a client the other day, and I think he was just saying it was that initial shock of everything sort of getting shut down, March last year, and there was a bit of panic set in. How are we going to do this? How is it going to work? But but now it was like, even when this new lockdown came in, everyone was sort of geared by that point to like, okay, we've got to go home again if we were in the office. And it wasn't such a big thing. So people, are more equipped to sort of carry on as normal now. That period of adjustment has sort of happened. Yeah,
it's amazing really how well everyone's kind of adapted to it and just kind of gotten on with it. But I was asked a really interesting question earlier. I was lucky enough to be invited as a guest on a podcast with Julia Commode of iWork. So if anyone is kind of freelance, self-employed business owner, definitely go and check out iWork. But she asked me whether it is common and is it acceptable for small businesses to just have a Facebook page rather than a website. So I'm kind of curious to know, from a GU point of view, obviously we like people to take websites that we can help with, but from a marketing point of view, if you're a micro business, would you say that is norm, is acceptable? What's your view on that?
I think there certainly are small businesses that can sort of start by perhaps just utilising, social media. But obviously we always say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And if that basket is actually on someone else's platform, you're at their behest as to what actually happens. So if Facebook suddenly decided to take away a load of functionality that you were using, and your business was utilising that, you've got no sort of way of then carrying on. Whereas at least if you've got your own website, obviously it's a lot more adaptable in what you're doing. But I think, I've certainly known friends and things that have started up, maybe just having Facebook and Instagram, or just even Facebook to start with. But then they realise that actually once they grow a little, there's an expectation to probably have a website. It feels more professional. There's a bit of reassurance about it. If you've got that professional sort of presence, so it's probably a bit of a growth thing for some people. The real micro business might start with just those Facebook platforms and things, and then grow into it. But then a lot of people will obviously want to start out with a website, and obviously utilize the marketing sort of funnels and things that we teach our clients to use.
What I think is good, though, actually, just saying that, when you are small, like you said, the fact that Facebook has brought out all these new things to actually allow you to do this. Whereas before you couldn't, there's no way you could set up a tiny business on Facebook. But now you can actually set stuff up and sell it and market it all within there, which is brilliant, like you said, at the start when you're really small, and then you can grow. But it's great that anyone can set that up with virtually no money.
Yeah.
Which I think right now is really important. So,
Yeah, definitely.
Paul's just put a comment. Yeah. I was going to say, that sort of thing about getting things in place when you start as well, though. So about a domain name, even if you're perhaps not going to use it, or like Paul said, just have a holding page there. You've got that in place for ready when you are wanting to grow into a site as well. So good point.
Yeah, definitely. I must admit, my answer was pretty similar. I think great for micro businesses. So if you're I don't know, from a consumer point of view, maybe you're a cake baker, or, you know, so in the run up to Christmas, people were looking for sort of home baked goods, or if you're a local tradesperson, it can be useful because it feels quite authentic as well. I'm using that word again, but it feels genuine because people can comment and review. But as you say, if you get bigger, so if you are, you know, a recruiter, a tradesperson or something like that, you would expect to see a more professional website behind that, even if it was just a couple of pages. And it really doesn't have to cost a huge amount.
I think, I definitely think it's a reassurance thing of having a presence on multiple platforms, and like you say, reviews and things. I mean, we were looking, we just had to look for a tradesperson not in the area for a job, for a personal job, and obviously I'll look at everything. So I'll Google it first, I'll see what's going on there, but then I'll go to Facebook and see where the reviews are, and basically we pick someone based on the reviews that were a combination of Google reviews and Facebook reviews. So again, it's having that sort of balance of things. But yeah, I think if you're very small, like you say, sort of artisan bakers and things like that, you know, that can work really well on, you know, on Facebook, because it's building that community and it's building sort of, you get your friends sharing stuff and things like that. And that can really be good to sort of start out with.
Definitely. One thing we don't often talk about a huge amount on here is YouTube. And again, one of the articles I was looking at this week was talking about the world's biggest websites according to their traffic. So people that go to visit different websites every month. And of course, the social channels were in there. So you've got the traditional one. So Facebook was third. Google, as you can imagine, is the most visited website in the world. YouTube was second, which I didn't particularly surprise me, but I think may surprise some people that don't consume that much video content. But from a marketing point of view, and again, it kind of comes down to, I think, and maybe it's gone up over the last year, how kind of self-servy we are as people. So if we want to find out how to do something, whether it is how to refurbish my home or how to do something in the back end of a website, you know, we could go onto YouTube and find a how-to video. I mean, we can go on there and kind of find funny stuff as well. But from a marketing point of view, if you're, you know, from a business point of view and wanting to get that up and running, and I know our YouTube channel is kind of a work in progress, because compared to all the other social media and activity we do, it's, you know, definitely on the list, but it's not quite number one on our list of priorities. So we're still evolving on there. But Jane, you did quite a lot of the work on our YouTube. So if someone was getting started thinking, I want to get on with YouTube and I think it's important, would you, well, so I guess two questions. How would you say they even get started, and why would you say it was important?
Oh, crumbs. Now you're asking. This is the kind of question I usually go and ask my children, because anything to do with YouTube, they're the experts, not me, which I suspect is why they're right up there at the top of most visited websites. I bet if you looked at the age demographic, it's really low. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I mean, our YouTube channel, like you said, it's a work in progress, and we're now putting a lot of how-to type videos on there. And I think you said that is, people want that. I mean, in our case, obviously, it's how to build a Twitter list or how to find people on LinkedIn rather than how to fix your tabs. But it's all that same sort of thing. It's when people want to know that. So if you've got a business that can help people and you identify that there is a problem and you can make a how-to video to how to fix that problem, then YouTube is the perfect place to do it. It's also great, you know, if you've got a business where you're selling things, to actually show a video of the thing you're selling. You know, here's how it works. Here's how you know, take the lid off, you know, unboxing videos of, you know, here's our new stock that's just arrived. There are so many different ideas. And I think, again, it doesn't really cost anything. Another thing that's really important is to make sure you put hashtags on your YouTube videos now, because they are now properly searchable. So if you are a plumber and you want to make a video on how to fix a dripping tap or whatever, you know, you need to make sure that you hashtag everything you can think about dripping taps, because when people search in Google or in YouTube, those things will start to come up. And And now, instead of having a sort of video that's a bit like dripping taps, your hashtag search is now a lot more accurate. So you will only get videos about dripping taps, not about things that are similar to dripping taps. And that's only come in sort of within the last month or so. So that's actually really useful. So I say, yeah, as a business, if you've got something to offer somebody that you can make a video about, then I would say just go for it and hashtag it properly, share it properly, make sure you put your keywords in the titles, and yes, and then share it on your other channels so that people can go and, you know, click through to your YouTube channel, or, you know, advertise your own YouTube channel on Twitter. If you want to see videos about dripping taps, head over to our YouTube channel. So
I'm there.
Yeah, there's a lot you can do, and again, doesn't cost a lot.
For me, I think it's all about building brand awareness, isn't it? And I think if you have something that, like Jane was saying, something that you can help people with, or a how-to video, or something where you can show people your expertise in your area, that is free, that is just another thing that you can add to everything else that you're doing. I sort of think, why wouldn't you do it? And also Jane's point about the demographic as well, I was going to say that because I think it didn't surprise me at all that they are so high. I think now's the age of sort of influencers and vloggers and YouTubers, and if you ask any under 10-year-old what they want to be when they grow up, 9 times out of 10 they're going to say I want to be a YouTuber. I think it's that cool, isn't it? It's very trendy. It's people love that type of content, and I have to admit, when I follow certain YouTubers, I find their content really interesting. It's almost like a reality TV, but on YouTube. I love it. Like I watch sort of people going on holiday and things, and my partner says to me, "Oh, why do you watch that? So boring." I'm like, "But it's not boring, because now I can see." I watched one the other day, and there was this hotel, and I was like, "That hotel's so nice. I'm going to add that to my list of hotels I want to go and visit." And it's just I guess like reality TV, you can switch off. You don't have to think about it. It takes you away from where you are. It's just that moment of just being, just focusing on something completely different. And I think it is very popular with young children or younger adults even. So yeah, I would be interested to see the demographics on that. But I do think there would be a lot of young people that watch it. 100%, I think.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. It is the norm for teens as well. So sort of those coming up who are kind of late teens, 20s, that kind of thing. I know I use it for a lot of IT tips. So, you know, Christina's tips on how to set up a Twitter list, or how to get your Facebook pixel to do your retargeting. They're fantastic. I know just the other day I wanted to learn how to do something in Canva that I wasn't 100% sure of. And it's so quick and easy just to go, how do I do this? Type it into YouTube and off we go.
Yeah.
But from a business point of view, so if you're setting up like a channel, so we've got the Green Umbrella channel, that's free, isn't it? There's no cost associated with setting up on YouTube.
No, it's free. It's just like setting up a Facebook or something like that, and then it's just uploading your video. There's a create button, I think it says create on the top right, and then you just literally upload your video, add a description. You have to choose now whether the video is suitable for children. So that's like I think that's a relatively new functionality that they've added in. And yeah, you can do things like create a playlist. You can add the video to the playlist. So we've got a Green Umbrella live lunch playlist. So it's just a great way of people being able to view all the videos for that playlist, obviously within one area. And yeah, you click you can schedule it, or you can publish it straight away. So it's very similar, I guess, to the other platforms. It's just creating the content to put on it, and knowing what type of content is going to work. But again, there's so much different content on YouTube, isn't there? Obviously, you've got to make it relevant for your business or your company or your service. But I mean, there's everything. There's everything on there. Like Jane was saying, unboxing. People buy a new handbag and unbox it and show you the packaging. And
why are they? Why are unboxing videos so popular?
I think it's that thing, isn't it? It's imagining yourself in that position. But I can kind of see it.
I can't.
Like I can, because to me, if I bought a new, going a bit off topic here, but if I bought a new designer handbag or something, then that'd be really exciting. and it's like, oh, look what they've got. It's like Christmas.
It builds the anticipation though before you
Yeah.
see the actual thing.
Yeah,
They're
it's like,
slowly peeling
look
back
at that
the
lovely ribbon.
box and the ribbon, yeah, and then it's like, wow, what at the end?
Jane gets it.
I get it, yeah.
A new guitar or something, Mark.
Sorry.
Imagine it's a new guitar or something. An unboxing for
Yeah,
that. Would that appeal?
well, not an unboxing, but no. I will watch sort of reviews and things though if I am buying guitar gear. Definitely that kind of thing. Yeah, so I suppose it's similar,
Yeah.
but without the ribbon.
It's that escapism, isn't it? Oh, I love the ribbon, but yeah, I think it's just that. Like I said, I've obviously with lockdown and everything, I've not been able to travel or do anything. I've really enjoyed watching travel vlogs recently, and I've been watching loads. I've watched Australia, I've watched Bali, I've watched American road trips. I just love it. I think it's that escapism. It's sort of imagining myself there for 20 minutes, and it's quite nice. And I can write places down that I think, oh, I'd really like to go there in the future. It's just, yeah, this is me, and I love the ribbon.
So you're trying to build an audience, then, depending on what you're doing, it's a good place to be seen.
Well, yeah.
People are a bit
very
scared
popular.
of video, aren't they?
I think they are, yeah. But I think that, like Christina always says, that's something that you can overcome. Like none of us here, or I know, I definitely hated being on video. Christina once tried to film a video of me, and I went bright red and hid my face. So I think
look at you now.
Thanks. No, I think it's something that you can overcome. I think it's just yeah, you just got to dive in and just try it. And I think the more you do it, the more you do grow in confidence. Obviously, we've been doing these live lunches now for just under a year. Yeah, for episode 45. So I think it's something that you now I come on and I don't really think anything of it, to be honest. Whereas before, I remember the first 5 maybe, I was extremely nervous. I didn't want to do it at all. But yeah, I think there's techniques, isn't there? Christina's the best person for advice on that, but you can definitely overcome it.
I think yeah, her best piece of advice, and one we all echo, is you kind of got to give it a go with video. YouTube can feel a bit permanent, I guess, because if you're going to put a video on YouTube, it's kind of there for it's there forever. It feels like, of course, you can delete videos if they're old, but I think stories is a great way to get started with video. If people are a bit nervous, they can put it in there. They know it goes off to 24 hours, so it's a good way to kind of dip your toe in.
Yeah, I also think as well, just quickly, final point is that when you do it with other people. So for me, I still think if you put me in front of a camera and ask me to talk about something, I'd feel really awkward and I'd go back to live lunch week 1. But I think it's when there's everybody else there and you can have that conversation, the entire focus isn't just on you and what you're saying. That's another way to ease yourself into it. So if you have someone else that maybe can film the video with you, or you can both bounce off each other, that's definitely something that I would prefer to do anyway than just have the camera solely on myself.
You've just reminded me of something, Emily.
What's that?
We need to do the Emily's Brain Box live.
No, no chance.
Just think of it as a spin-off from Live Lunch.
If you put all your faces there, and then I could just talk with a background of faces. Maybe.
So if anyone wants to read the latest Emily's Brain Box, that is also in this month's social snippet out now.
Soon to be the Emily Brain Box show, the Data Davis show.
Spin-offs. That's what happens when you have a successful TV series, isn't it? You do spin-offs.
Yeah, that's it.
They usually be fair though. Anything else? Because we are getting towards the end of the show. Any other news we need to impart?
I don't think so. The only other thing that we mentioned is obviously Clubhouse had Elon Musk hold a room this week, I believe, which was big news. That was trending on Twitter. Basically saying that, so I'm not on Clubhouse, but I believe that if you have a very popular room, you can have overflow rooms. And obviously, with it being Elon Musk, there were about 10 overflow rooms that were full. So yeah, that was trending on Twitter for a few hours. Obviously, I didn't see it. I don't know what he was talking about, but it was big news.
Well, see, if it's a Clubhouse question, that is a Christina thing. And as Paul has commented on Facebook, is that where she is? Is Christina over on Clubhouse? Because she is our resident Clubhouse guru. I think, I've just dipped a toe in the water, but I promise you, she's not ditched us for Clubhouse. She is working hard with a client, and she will be back with us next week. Lovely comment from Heidi. Nice to see you there, saying we are brilliant together. Of course we are, and we make it hilarious. So
there you go.
Sometimes unintentionally hilarious.
Yeah. we try and put a light spin on the marketing news. So anyway, it's great to have everyone along. We will see you next week, same time, same place, Thursday, midday on Facebook, YouTube, and Christina's LinkedIn. And now this is the part where we have to wave, don't we? So Emily can take her photo.
Thank you.
And we'll see you all next week. Thanks for being along with us.
Bye.